Should they and will they? The Ohio State Buckeyes in the college football playoff, it is down to Ohio State and Alabama. That's the only decision the committee has to make. Ohio State, the 11-2 Big Ten champions. Alabama, the 11-1 second-place team in the SEC West. Bill Landis, we're going to do should and will. Should Ohio State make the playoff? If you were on the committee.
No, I don't think so. I think they have two, and to borrow a word the committee uses, non-competitive losses. And one is to Oklahoma, and Oklahoma is very good. I think Oklahoma has an argument to be number one. And one's to Iowa, and Iowa's not good. And Iowa beat them by 31 points. And Ohio State looked dysfunctional. They've been very up and down. There's not a lot of consistency to this team. I think Alabama, although it had a loss to Auburn, it doesn't have a conference championship, was more consistent than Ohio State, had injury problems. I think all that works in Alabama's favor. So, no, I don't think Ohio State should get in.
Should, Tim?
No. We talked to Joel Klatt about this yesterday and on Friday, and he said he thought Ohio State needed to win convincingly. 6 points is not a convincing win. Needing a pick on a 4th and 20 at the end of the game, not convincing. I think Ohio State didn't need to be a blowout, but they needed to look good. And there were too many times where they didn't finish the job. I thought they needed to be authoritative for 60 minutes, and they weren't. They did beat an undefeated team. There's something to be said about that at this time of the year, but I don't know if they did enough to get in. They needed to make an emphatic statement and make it a no decision for the committee, and they didn't do that.
All right, I'd say they should get in because probably neither Alabama nor Ohio State really deserves to get in, and then in that case, I'll go conference title. I would have valued conference title last year with Penn State. In a tiebreaker, I'll value conference title again this year. I think Alabama wins the eye test, but I think on the committee I would go a little more on the resume test. I think the resume, even with 2 losses, and even with that big Iowa loss, favors Ohio State. So if I were on the committee, I think I would push for them to get in. Now, will they get in? At noon, the ESPN show will be on Sunday. Will that show, when the name comes up for the number 4 seed, will it be Ohio State?
Yeah, I think it will. I don't think they should get in, and I think it's a slim margin, but I think they will get in. 2 top 10 wins. I think the committee thinks this Wisconsin team is good, and that's going to help Ohio State. They beat them in a Big Ten title, conference championship's a tiebreaker. I think Ohio State will be in.
Will they get in, Tim?
I think so. When you look at OSU's resume, as you were pointing out, it's better. They have 2 wins over top 10 teams. Alabama's best win is against a top 20 LSU team that lost to Troy. I think, and their loss also came against a 3-loss non-champ in Auburn. If Auburn had won, we'd probably be talking about a different story. They didn't. I think ultimately just enough on the resume gets Ohio State in by about that much.
There are 13 people on that committee. I keep saying I think in the end it's going to be like 8-5 or 7-6, the decision between Alabama and Ohio State. I think they will get in, but I think absolutely, I think it's a coin toss practically. But I think in the end it's not going to be on the field stuff. I don't think it's going to be resume and eye test and that kind of thing. I think it's going to be a little more political. I think it's going to be about getting in 4 different conferences. I think it's going to be about like not ticking off the Big Ten. I think it's going to be about, is the SEC really so good that this is the first year we're going to put in 2 teams from the same conference? It's this conference this year, are we sure? And I just think that the diversity of conferences and geography, that given a coin flip, they'll choose diversity to spread the playoff out a little bit. Because I just don't think there's enough of a case to be made either way for either team on the field. So I think this decision is going to be made kind of off the field. Not conspiracy theory, TV ratings kind of thing, but just like in the name of college football, what's the best thing? A bigger, broader playoff. And if there's nothing else to determine between the 2 teams, you lean that way. Tim, Bill, Doug, listen, the show's on ESPN at 12. I think maybe it might be more like 12:20 or 12:30 before we see that number 4 seed pop up. We will have a million things of coverage as soon as that happens. We'll have a lot before it happens. Again, I don't even know what the score was. What was the score?
27-21.
27-21, and we're immediately on to the playoff. He's Tim. He's Bill. I'm Doug. Thanks for watching at cleveland.com.